Okay, with this video, we're going to review the Sessions tab and the Sessions dashboard and all the elements associated with it. So let's take a look. So once you log in to your account, it brings you to your sessions. And a session is basically just a virtual classroom that you create. Okay, and by example, you can see I've created a whole bunch of these classrooms or sessions. So just think of sessions as classrooms. Okay, so along the top you're going to see I don't think that you will see a home button. That's just for me, the Sanico dealer. I believe you will only see the sessions, the exercise templates, files, and recorder. So right now we are on the Sessions tab, and this is where you will make sessions. Of course, when you log in for the first time, this will all be blank. As I mentioned before, it's populated right now because I created a bunch of sessions. So to create a session, it's very simple. All you have to do is hit New Session. Okay, and you are required to give it a session name. Okay, so you may want to call it like Spanish 1 Period 1, Spanish 1 Period 2, something like that. Whatever you want to call it. I believe that is the only requirement you need to create a session. The other things are not required, but giving it a name is required. So enable chat. What is enable chat? So that is basically when you enter your session, or if your students enter session, what does that little chat feature look like by default? Do you want it to be enabled by default or disabled by default? So the chat session is just a little chat window that students can put comments or ask questions in there, and you also can do that. So you may want that enabled by default, so anytime anyone goes in there, it's already enabled. Or perhaps you want it disabled by default. Just remember, anytime you as the teacher go into that session, you can disable it or enable it once you're in the session. This is just how it looks by default. Okay, so custom URL. So for example, if I put Spanish 1 as the name, that's great. Now, when I hit this create button down here, the system, Sanico Connect system, will create a unique URL for that session. And that URL is just a series of letters and numbers and things like that that don't really mean anything. It's unique to that session. If you want to customize it, it's still the same URL, but you could take this, for example, and copy it and maybe paste it in here. So now when you send that link to your students to join, it'll have a more recognizable name, I suppose, than just a series of letters and numbers. It's the exact same link, just one has a little bit more recognizable. Now again, this is completely optional. You do not have to do this. Creating a session password is optional. Just remember, if you do create a session password, you are actually going to have to give that password to your students for them to join, because when they click the link, it's going to say hello, what's the password? So they're going to need that password to join. And this little area here is kind of like a like if you want to add something so that when the student clicks on the link to join the session and the system takes them to the session and they click it, it's kind of like a splash screen. You could type in some instructions here. You could type in hello, welcome to our Spanish 1 class. these are the topics that we're going to be covering this year, so let's have some fun. So whatever, so you could type all that in there for the students to see when they join the session. It's kind of like their introductory splash screen, I suppose. So let me go ahead and go back, and let's see if I click on this one. So okay, so you see in this one I typed in a bunch of stuff just as an example, so you can see. I call it my Sanico demo class. So that's what it looks like there. And if I wanted to make changes, of course, I can hit the update button. Right now I'm going to go back. Okay, so so that's the sessions, and this is where you create sessions. Let's talk about this session here, Sanico demo class session. So you see over here, when you click this, if I want to join the session, that's how I join. I click that and it takes me as a teacher into the session. Let's say I created a really neat session. For example, here, Dallas 1, period 2. So with this session, I created a whole bunch of really neat exercises, and I've got a whole bunch of files in there and stuff like that. And I wanted to create another session, perhaps I'd call it period 3 or something like that. And I wanted, but I don't want to go and recreate all those exercises that I did before. So what I did was I simply just used this duplicate. So I clicked on that, the down arrow, and I hit duplicate, and it gave me so it duplicated everything, and it showed it to me right here. So once it's duplicated, then I can go in here, click this, and just quite simply change the name to call it Dallas 1, period 3. And just take out this information and put in period 3 there. And then just like that, I very easily created another session, period 2 and a period 3. And they all have the same exercises. Okay, so what else do we have under here? So that's the join session. That's the duplicate your session. The show QR code is nice. You can click that, and this is the QR code for that session. So if I wanted to show that to the students, they can use their cell phone very easily and just use their cell phone to scan that image and join your session. Okay, so that's what that's all about. If I wanted to copy the session link to the clipboard, I can do that here. To end a session. Okay, so ending the session, typically you don't end the session at the end of a school day. You end a session, I'm going to say typically at the end of a semester or at the end of a school year. Okay, so that's usually when you end a semester. I mean, when you end a session, okay? So when you end a session, basically it makes the session URL link no longer valid for anybody to click on. So nobody can click on that and join your session anymore. So I do have some ended sessions. I could show them here. So let me put it, so it's going to show me these. Here's an ended session. So perhaps it's ended, and maybe I ended it by mistake. So I can activate the session again. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. Okay, so those are your sessions and how to create them. Now, the next button, exercise template. In this video, I'm not going to show you how to create exercises, but I just want to point out that there are two places where you can create exercises. One is, of course, right here on your Sessions Dashboard. And the other place is once you go inside a session, you will also have an exercise button that you can click and create exercises there. Now, the nice part about creating exercises on your dashboard is that you can use them in multiple sessions. So let's say I've got 4 Spanish 1 sessions that I work with students. If I create an exercise here, I can import that exercise into any session that I want. So I don't have to recreate the exercise for each session. I could just import it into different sessions. Okay. All right. The other very nice thing about creating exercises under the dashboard tab, sessions, dashboard sessions, is that you can share them with the organization, and the other teachers that are using that same license can see what's been shared. So right now at the top, you see I've got my templates. These are the ones that I created here, exercises. And let's see, do I have any? So you can see here, I've got some that are shared with the organization. I've got 3. Okay, so I've got 3 that are shared with the organization. So if I click on the organization templates, here they are. These 3 are shared. So once they're shared with the organization, I could look and see what they are. I could import them into my own templates, which this one I already did. I could just click on it to look at it, kind of preview it, and see if I like it or not. Just by clicking on it, it gives you a preview. Okay, so and you can search by languages as well. Okay, so that's really nice. So you create them under the My Templates by clicking a new template, and I'll show you how to create exercises in another video. But it's nice to create them here because, like I said, you could share them within your own different sessions, or also you can share them with the organization and other teachers. Okay, so that's the exercise templates. Files. So your Files tab is basically you can drag or drop or upload different files that you want to use within these exercises. They could be pictures, MP3s, JPEGs, MP4 videos, just about any file type, PDFs, and so forth. So if you forget to upload a file here, don't worry, because when you're inside the exercise and creating an exercise, if you didn't already upload it to your commonly or often frequently used file folder here, there's an opportunity within the exercise itself to also upload a file for that particular exercise. Okay, so and lastly, recorder. Why is there a little recorder button here? So that is, I'll click it. Okay, so this is basically a standalone recorder. So a standalone recorder, it's the advanced recorder, it's the Sanico Connect advanced recorder. It is not tied to any particular activity. It's quite simply just a web-based standalone recorder with some cool features. So you can, as a teacher, you can activate it, or you can turn it off, disable it basically. So let's have it active, and here's some words you can put in here. just again, so when the recorder is opened, teachers or students that click it will see these words here. Okay, so let's turn this back on. And so let's open in a new tab. And let's take a look at this new tab. So as you can see, it's as long as you have that link and the link is active, and here's those words that I put on there. So students can use this and teachers can use this. You can use it just to make a recording, or you can load an audio file and record along with it. Maybe the audio file has a series of questions and I'm a student and I want to practice, so I upload or I load the audio file, and then I hit record, and I record my responses right along with the audio file. And I could just do that for practice. This is not tied to any particular exercise. Keep in mind, you can load audio or video. If you have an MP4, you could load that here as well. Okay, and when you play it back, when you hit replay to play it back, you can actually lower the sound of the master track so that you can hear your voice a little bit better. It'll soften the master track so you can hear yourself better. That's why these are here. And there's a little voice insert feature. If you want that active, you put a check there. I'll show you how to use a voice recorder, the advanced recorder with voice insert, in another video. That voice insert is a very, very handy feature. So I'll review that in a video called How to Use Voice Insert. Okay, so let's go back to our main dashboard tab here. So we've covered sessions, exercise templates, files, and the recorder. So, okay, let's see. I believe that's everything here. Okay, so, all right, so that is the sessions dashboard. Thanks for watching.